Today in this lab we're going to demonstrate making a smear from a broth culture and from a hard culture from a solid media, and we're going to perform the gram staining procedure. First, we take our inoculating loop and we incinerate it to sterilize it. We leave it in the incinerator until it glows bright red. Take care not to move your loop around inside the incinerator or leave it hanging out, because it will get hot and burn your hand, and these will also break and come apart. You take your broth culture, roll it between your hands to disrupt the growth, and that way it mixes the culture. Remove the cap. Keep the cap in your hand and do not put it on the bench. Take your test tube with the broth culture and pass it through your flame, and that sterilizes the lip of the test tube. You'll take your sterile loop and place it inside the broth culture. Pull it straight out without touching the edges of the test tube. Flame the test tube again to make sure you remove any bacteria that could be there. Put the cap back on your broth culture, and then the loop that has the bacteria on it is placed on a clean, greaseless microscope slide. You put it flat on the microscope slide and move it laterally right to left about 1.5 to 2 inches. And then you take your inoculating loop and you incinerate it to sterilize the loop again. And then you allow your slide to air dry, and that takes about approximately 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how much water you have present on your slide. When preparing a smear from a hard culture, you can use these clothespins if you wish to hold on to your slides. You want to use the same kind of technique, aseptic. You also need to add a drop of water to the microscope slide because you're using a hard culture. You take your after you've added 1 drop of water to your slide, you incinerate your inoculating loop until it glows bright red. You have your TSA or other media that has your bacteria on it with the lid down. You pick up the culture. You just scrape off the surface a sample of bacteria. Normally it would be a colony. And then you take that bacterial sample and just rub it around in your drop of water. Again, spreading that drop of water with the bacteria in it about 1.5 to 2 inches right to left. And then you let it air dry, and of course you incinerate your inoculating loop again before you set it down. Allow it to glow bright red, and you might hear a sizzling noise as the bacteria is being burned off. Once your smear is completely air dried, you can then heat fix it by again using the clothespin to give you an extension. Pass it through the flame 2 to 3 times, and that helps the bacteria be stuck on to the slide. If we try to heat fix the bacteria too soon, it can distort the bacteria, and then it will not look correct underneath the microscope. And then we are ready to stain it. Our gram staining reagents are crystal violet, Gram's iodine, ethanol or ethyl alcohol, and safranin. Once the smear has been prepared and heat fixed, we apply crystal violet for 1 minute, and you allow that to sit on there for 60 seconds. After 1 minute has passed, then gently rinse off the crystal violet. I like to apply the water near the end of the clothespin rather than directly on the smear, even though it's been heat fixed. After it's been rinsed with deionized water, apply your grams iodine, over the smear. So you flood the smear with the grams iodine and allow that to sit for 60 seconds. And then you gently rinse it off. And then you apply ethyl alcohol for approximately 5 to 20 seconds max until you see the dye stop running from the end of the slide or it starts turning clear at the base of the slide. Rinse gently with water, and then apply your safranin for 1 minute onto the smear. And then gently rinse. Once you're finished gram staining your slide, if it's still moist, you can use bibulous paper to place the slide between the sheets and gently just tap. You don't want to push too hard or else the slide will break. And then you are ready to observe it underneath the microscope.